After the Scales is proudly presented by DJD Graphics. From commercial and personal vehicles to racing bikes and cars of all makes, models, and disciplines, DJD Graphics can fully customize your vehicle to suit your needs. For more information, contact Darren and visit his website at www.djdgraphics.com. Tell him Shaun and Jacob sent you to receive special rates.
Welcome back, everyone, to the After the Scales podcast presented by DJD Graphics. This is our 18th episode, and we got a special guest today with HAIDEN COWAN, driver of the number 14 Dirt Late model. I'm Jacob Dove from Phenom Motorsports, along with Shaun Blight of Canadian Racing Tours. If you guys didn't watch our last episode, we are now partnering with DJD Graphics and Gear, so go over to the QR code and scan the link to make sure to check him out, Darren Dryden, who we had on last episode. And yeah, HAIDEN, we're definitely excited to have you on today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
So we wanted to open it up, and Shaun, let's take it away with some of the first things we have for HAIDEN.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I didn't really know anything about HAIDEN. I saw him race at Eldora at the Dream. That was my first trip down there. And you were parked next to Brandon Overton, Spencer Hughes, Ricky Weiss was on the other side of you. I was hanging around you guys quite a bit. Just talk to us about the weekend that you had down there. Learned quite a lot, I assume.
Oh yeah, it's definitely wild. Every time you go down there, it's a wild place for sure. Especially being parked next to all them guys, it's really something special, but I don't know, it's pretty cool.
And you mentioned Brandon Overton. Obviously, he's a fellow Georgia competitor, and I read somewhere he's probably one of your favorite drivers. What are some other competitors that you've kind of looked up to in the dirt racing scene?
Yeah, he's definitely one of them. He helps me do everything. Like, he works on all my shocks, sets the car up for me. I'm at his shop a lot of the times. I mean, Scott, I really looked up to him when I was young, always watching him, always winning something. So that was cool getting to watch him when I was real young. But it's cool to get to race against him now. Now we get to go and compete with him.
And HAIDEN, you mentioned earlier when we were talking about kind of following Brandon Overton around, how did that relationship develop? Like, how did you guys kind of meet each other, and how did you kind of work that out where you're just kind of following him along and he's helping you out?
One year he was racing at home, Scriven, about 30 minutes away. He's racing there, and one of our buddies, or one of Dad's buddies really, he knew him, so he went down there and introduced us all to him. And I told him I want to learn how to do it. And he's pretty much taken me and shown me everything I know. He's taught me all of it.
And obviously, you're not the only dirt racer in your family. You got your brother, Gavin. For the people who might not know that are watching, share with us how you got your start in dirt racing along with your brother. How you guys came up through the ranks, and quickly in a short, young racing career, you're already running with the big boys, kind of. So share with our viewers about that.
Yes, sir. Really, it started with dirt bikes. About 4 or 5 years old, somewhere around there. We're racing them for a little while, and Dad wanted us in something safer. Dirt bikes, it's not if it happens, it's when it happens normally. So we got into the go-karts probably 6 years old, somewhere around there, and we started with them and then raced those for a couple years. Then we went into the mini late models, the Sharps, raced those for probably 2 years, and then I got out of it for a little while. I was just hanging out, not really doing a whole lot. And then my little brother had a 602, and he got a new one, so we had 2 of them, and I'm like, hell, I'm gonna drive one of them. So we got the seat in it and tested it out, and It's really where it started with the late models.
Where did the history of racing, like in your family, is that something that your dad did, or who? How did you get interested in racing, kind of in the first place?
Dad never really did it. He raced BMX bikes as a kid, like when he was real young or whatever. And then our neighbor actually is the one that he used to race go-karts, and that's where we got it, is from our neighbor. He took us to the track one time, and I'm like, we got to do that. That's pretty cool.
And obviously, you know, with you and both your brother being young, trying to make it in dirt late model racing, would you say your goal moving forward is to eventually take this to the next level and run a national series, maybe have all the resources put together to maybe run a full schedule with Lucas Oil Dirt Series, or maybe the World of Outlaws? Obviously, you guys have been running some Hunt the Front stuff, and then you mentioned about some Summer National stuff. Share with our viewers maybe some potential plans you might want to have down the road.
Yeah, I think definitely one day would like to run the Lucas series or maybe World Outlaws, one of them. I don't know what one really yet, but we're just trying to get ready for that. That's a whole nother level of what we've been doing. It's definitely a lot different, and you're gone a lot longer. But definitely one day we'd like to do that.
What's been the biggest challenge, like going from what you were racing before to getting into a super late model?
Oh, it's really huge. Like, it seems like nothing compares. Like, you drive the 602s, you drive the 604s, you do all this, and you're like, all right, I'm ready. I'm going to get in one of these things. And you get in, and it's not even nowhere close to what you were doing. It's driving them is way different. Everything you do to them is like 100% different.
And we obviously mentioned some of the drivers that have helped you out, and you have your dad and your crew guys and all these people kind of giving you some resources and insight. What's something that stood out to you as far as the biggest advice that someone's given to you when you got into the dirt late models?
Just never quit. You can't give up. This shit ain't easy. So it'd be easy to quit. So just never quit. Keep going, and eventually you're gonna get it.
And what are some of the tracks? I know you're kind of mostly doing some local stuff. You're doing some of the bigger shows too. I know we talked about you're doing the World 100. I think you did that last year too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And you did the Dream. You mentioned maybe doing Charlotte in the fall. Are you just kind of mainly focusing on local stuff as you kind of learn and kind of grow through the ranks?
We are. We're right now. I'm mainly trying to follow Brandon around. He's the one that helps me get around these tracks. Like, he knows most of them we go to, so he has a standard setup that he can put on them, and really that's how we do it, following him.
And obviously, you've been with the Rocket chassis as far as what you've been accustomed to running. I feel like the biggest three things in dirt late model racing is chassis, engine, and shock setup. And you have someone like Brandon Overton helping you. A lot of the times when we have dirt late model guys, I like to ask them some of their feedback on how the car. Have you felt like you've gotten the most out of your equipment? Because obviously Rocket has been dominant, but Longhorn has taken over the dirt late model scene. Longhorn has a lot of almost all of the national wins this year, and then this past year they had a lot of wins and accomplishments too. So do you feel like maybe, I don't know, you might switch to another chassis maybe down the road, or you're kind of happy with the Rocket that you've been running?
I'm happy with the Rockets. Like, I was in the Longhorn last year. I ran that. I have one in there right now, a Longhorn, and they're all right. But the Rocket, they really help us. Like, I can call them anytime, and they're gonna help me. And Brandon used to race them a good while ago, and he knows a lot about them, so he can help us out with that. He knows kind of where to be with them, really. And the Longhorns, I was good with those two, but when I raced the 602s and 604s and stuff like that, I was always in the rocket, and I seem to do better in them.
And a young driver like yourself, are you doing the sim racing stuff at all, Hayden? Is because we talked to a lot of drivers that, or kind of older guys didn't have that back in the day, and now a lot of young guys going to tracks maybe for the first time or just kind of working on how to get better. Is that something you're doing too?
Doing what with it?
The sim racing?
Oh no, I can't even drive one of those things. I've tried them a couple of times, and I'll spin out before I get out the pits. I'm terrible.
Well, at Phenom Motorsports, that's one of our specialties. So if you ever need some pointers, just let us know.
Yeah, maybe I need something. I'm terrible in one of those.
Yeah, and obviously, like Shaun mentioned, you're a young racer, and we mentioned about how you got a lot to look forward to with your young racing career. What's something that would happen in your racing career that kind of solidify that you really made it in the dirt racing scene?
Really don't know. That's a hard one. Like, just to make these races is a big accomplishment for a lot of people. It's so hard to go out here and just make these 50,000s and 100,000s, the dreams, the worlds, and stuff like that. Like, if you can consistently make those, I feel like you're doing all right. Like, you're okay, but I'd love to win, like the dream or the world or something one day. That'd be badass, really.
And we like to give a shout out to the kind of some of the people behind the scenes too that don't get a lot of the spot, like pit crew guys, people who help you out at the track. Obviously, Brandon Overton is instrumental, but maybe some of the people that go up and down the road with you. Who are some of those people, and maybe some of the sponsors that help you out too?
Well, going up and down the road with me right now, I got a couple young buddies. They've always been around and helped me, kind of, but Mason, Chase, and Brandon's crew, they do a lot for me too. Chapman, Ryder, Mikey, all of them, they help me when we're lost. They'll help us get right.
And you have a pretty big sponsor there with ties to your family with supply chain management in Georgia. Kind of
Yes.
share with our viewers the business side of things, because obviously, racing isn't a pretty penny. It takes a lot to get up and down the road.
Yes, sir. Supply chain management. It's a family-owned company. We import and export like cotton and lumber, steel, just stuff like that. They send it from here to China or import it from China to here, whatever it is. They kind of send it all over the place with trucks and stuff like that.
And I'll just ask you about your Jacob mentioned your brother. Tell us what he's doing right now, where he's at in his career.
He's driving for the Rum Runner Racing team right now. I drove for him last year, and now he's with him. He just started. He's probably done 4 races with him now, so he's gonna do that for a little while, or for a while, and see where that takes him. Hopefully, he learns a lot, and he's trying to do the same thing we're all trying to do, just make it in this.
And do you think that between you and your brother, you guys have like a racing rivalry? Before we get to our rapid fire segment, I know we have a question kind of about it, but between you and Gavin, do you guys kind of butt heads about how you guys are going to do at your next race?
Oh, we do. That's huge. Like, we'll be arguing before we even get there, talking shit, trying to figure out who's gonna win, and just as long as one beats the other, I think we're all right. It's like, it kind of sucks racing them. It does, because we're just trying to beat each other out there. It's hard. So Dad tries to split us up as much as he can, send me to one place and my little brother to the other, so we're not screwing each other up.
All right, and we'll get into our rapid fire segment next. I just wanted to ask you one more thing. Tell us where you're going to be at kind of in the next month or so. Where can people find you at the racetrack?
I have the schedule right here on my phone. So it'll be at Beckley the 12th, with the 13th, Volunteer Speedway the 14th. The 16th will be at I-75. The 18th will be at Sonoya. The 19th, East Alabama. The 20th is Scriven, which that's close to home. The 21st will be in Swainsboro. The 23rd will be in Cherokee. The 25th will be at Toccoa. The 26th is North Georgia. And then the 27th ends it, and we're in Tazewell.
Wow. So it's, July and August are notoriously really, really busy for racing. So that's a packed schedule. I wish you all the best, Hayden, and thanks for coming on. We'll turn it over to Jacob. We've got a rapid fire segment next.
Yeah, so every show we like to do with our guests, we have our DJD Gear Rapid Fire segment. You give you 10 questions. You just name whatever comes to mind, and we like to kind of get to know our drivers a little better, whether it's racing related or personal related. So, Hayden, are you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The first question is, why the number 14?
I really don't know. That's a number I've always loved since a baby. It's just always been my number.
I'll have to agree because Tony Stewart was 14, so that's why I always liked it. But as far as who in the Cowan family is the favorite child?
I don't know. That's a hard one right there. Hopefully me, right?
Yeah, hopefully your parents don't play favorites, but we're hoping at least say you for confidence sake.
That's right.
For the third question, what are some of your favorite things to do in Georgia?
I really don't do much. I race and I fly a little bit. Fishing, hunting, flying, racing. That's about it.
Yeah, I was going to mention about the fishing part because I saw on your Instagram some fishing pics. So the next question is, off the racetrack, what is your favorite fish to catch?
White marlin, blue marlin, sailfish, stuff like that.
And then what is your favorite music artist that you're listening to right now?
Oh, hell. I like Young Boy and Morgan Wallen. I listen to both of them, country and rap.
And then what's your most memorable accomplishment in your racing career?
Probably Eldora the first time when we sat on the pole up there. That's pretty cool.
And if late models didn't exist, which race car would you be behind the wheel of?
I really don't know. That'd be a hard one. I'd love to drive a sprint car. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's usually a pretty popular answer with our dirt late model guys. The next one is between the high side or the bottom. Which line do you prefer when you're racing?
I wish I could run the high side a little better because that's way cooler to be up there blowing the deck out of it all the time. But I'm normally better in the middle to the bottom, but definitely would rather the high side.
I always say the high side sells more t-shirts.
That's right. 100%.
And then after a race, which is usually your favorite place to eat at?
Normally we go to Waffle House. Nice. If there's one en route where we're going next, we'll go to the Waffle House.
Yeah, Moran said the same thing when we had him on, so definitely another popular choice. And then last but not least, for our last question, your brother Gavin is in the lead at Eldora, and you're in second place. It's the last lap. Do you move him out of the way for the World 100 win?
Hell yeah, he get him right out the way, whatever it takes. Definitely. Hopefully he gets second or something, but you definitely move him for that, I feel like.
Well, just like Dale Earnhardt Sr. said, you move his grandma out of the way for a win. So Obviously, an expected answer. And well, that wraps it up for our DJD Gear Rapid Fire segment. Shaun, do you have any concluding thoughts?
Nope. Just want to thank Hayden again for coming on. Kind of last minute. I just threw it out to him last night if he wanted to come on. He was game for it. So I really appreciate that. And good luck this year. And hopefully, I don't think I'll see you before, but hopefully I see you at Charlotte. That'd be really cool.
Yes, sir. That'd be awesome. Thank you guys for having me on.